Hello everyone, thanks for joining today's webinar. All right, I think we can start with the presentation.
Hi, my name is Lori Sonnenberg. I am with the Kansas Department of Labor, currently as the tax trainer. I have been an auditor within the state for 12 years, working with employers throughout the state of Kansas. Hold on just a second and we'll share this. Okay, can you see that okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So today we're going to go over the following session topics: unemployment insurance tax liability, applying for an unemployment tax account, file tax returns, new hire informations and sides e-responses, and answer questions for information misclassified workers, employee, or independent contractor. Employing units make up the following entities. You can have an individual ownership, sole proprietorship. On this, the owner's spouses, and any of their children under the age of 21 are exempt from reporting to Kansas unemployment tax for unemployment purposes. Another type of entity is partnerships. The partners are considered owners and therefore are self-employed. They are not employees of the partnership. The third type is corporations. Corporate officers are considered to be employees of the corporation. There are no exempt employees in this entity. On limited liability companies, the services that are performed by the member managers of the business carrying out their duties as members are exempt from employment. So under an LLC, the member managers are not reportable, just the employees would be reportable underneath that. And then of course, all businesses should have an FEIN. Even if you are a sole prop, you should register your business with an FEIN. So employment terminology, all of these different types can constitute employment and are reportable, whether it be regular employment, full-time employment, commission sales, casual labor, a temporary employee, a part-time employee, or a teenage worker. Every form of remuneration paid to the employees for services in computing their wages. So you should report not only wages, but commissions, bonuses, vacation pay, holiday pay, tips, severance pay, payments made in any medium other than cash would be included. Oops, sorry. So all those would be considered wages reportable for unemployment. Any information that you are needing in regards to whether or not employment is considered wages or not, you can find in our unemployment insurance employer handbook by going to kansasemployer.gov, and on the spyglass you can type in employer handbook and that will pop up for you. In determining whether or not you are liable for unemployment tax, the regulation is KSA 44703. It sets forth the conditions under which you're required to report wages paid and pay contributions, taxes for UI purposes. The different types are agricultural employment. Under agricultural, you have to have employment of 10 or more workers in 20 different weeks, or pay a quarterly payroll of 20,000 or more in a calendar quarter. Most employers hit liability under regular employment. Under regular employment, you have to have employment in 20 different weeks. So have an employee in 20 different weeks, or have a quarterly payroll of $1,500 or more. And that is where most employers become liable, is that quarterly wages of $1,500 or more, and that is combined wages for all employees. Government entities, they have to be employed by the state of Kansas or its political subdivisions. Another way is successorship. Purchasing a business, we call that successorship. So you're the successor to an employer who is subject to the provisions under the Kansas Employment Security Law. So if you purchase a business, you automatically become liable. Another form is domestic employment. So if you have a domestic employment situation, you have to have a quarterly payroll of $1,000 or more being paid to somebody within your home. Another one is if you resume paying wages. So that would include any employer whose account is inactive but has not been terminated. They resume within a 3-year period if they start paying wages again. So the resumption of wages would automatically make them liable once again. The next form is voluntarily elect. On voluntary, anybody can elect to be liable. So if you're paying an employee, you're under that $1,500. Maybe you don't want to wait 20 weeks to see, you just want to go ahead and start up their coverage. Or if you wouldn't be liable under any of these other circumstances, you can voluntarily elect to be liable and cover your employees. Employment elsewhere in the US. So if you're outside of the state of Kansas and you pay wages to a Kansas employee, if you are liable under FUTA in any other state, the Federal Unemployment Tax Act, you automatically are liable within the state of Kansas. And then the last form is a nonprofit organization. This is a nonprofit organization described in section 501c3 of the IRS code. You're required to pay taxes for unemployment if your organization employs 4 or more individuals in 20 different weeks within the calendar year. The next subject I want to talk about is how do you apply for your unemployment tax account? There's a couple different ways you can do this. You can fill out an employer status report. It's called a KCNS 010. You can pull it online by going to kansasemployer.gov and go to the Forms and Publication tab. You can complete and print that form and mail it or fax it to us. If you know who your field representative is, you can send that to your field representative and they can establish the account for you. You can also do that online, and we'll go through that here in just a little bit, but you can use the online as well for setting up an account. And then if there's anything that flags it or any questions that need to be addressed, a field representative will reach out for you. So once a UI tax account is established, you will be given a 6-digit serial or account number, and a PIN. On all accounts, the new ones, the rate is 2.7% unless you're under the construction field, and construction new employer rate is 6%. The wage base for contributing employers, so anybody that's paying in is a contributing employer. The tax rate since 2016 has been 14,000 on the wage base. So you will be taxed on the first 14,000 per employee. You have to report all wages throughout the year, but after 14,000, it will kick into excess wages at that point, and you will no longer be taxed on that individual. On our online account system, you can get there at kansasemployer.gov. If you already have a username and password, you can go to the employer login. Otherwise, you'll create the username and password. This is where you will submit wage reports. You can do your new hires through here. You can report any changes to your business. If you need phone number, address, who can access your account, all that can be made through this portal. If you have an accountant, you can set up your accountant through this portal as well. This is what the screen looks like for entering your username and password the first time you'll make up your own. And it does say here 6 characters. I believe they have changed that now to 12. So just note it probably is going to say enter 12 characters now. But this would be where you would start setting up your account. If you already have one set up, you just enter it in there. The screen it's going to give you will look like this, where you can register your accountant on behalf of your business to do your filings for you. Like I said, there's also the Kansas new hire directory where you can enter your new hires. Those have to be reported within 20 days. New hiring reporting, like I said, it's due within 20 days of hiring. It's the law. The law is the Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Reconciliation Act. You report all new hires and rehires. This is required for all employers. It helps families receive the report they deserve, ensures financial stability for families, and helps us detect unemployment insurance fraud. So all employers and labor organizations doing business in Kansas must submit the information on each new employee within 20 business days of the hire, rehiring, or returning to work. If rehired after a separation of 60 consecutive days, they must report them as a new hire. Like I said, that is all available on the website. You can pull up the Kansas new hire directory from the website itself or from within the employer portal. And it will give you all the information that you need in order to submit those. So it has all the information as far as how you do your filings. So you can report them electronically on the website or by fax or mail. So quarterly wage reports is the next section I want to talk to you about. So once you get your account established and you've met liability, you will be responsible to do quarterly wage filings. You can access your wage reports 24/7 through the portal that I just spoke to you about. You can manage your own payment amounts, dates, and other information. You can search by name, social security number, or wage amounts. You can view all of your previously filed reports and print copies. If a business is being dissolved, sold, or operating with no employees, you can contact your field rep to inactivate your account. And there also is a place that you can click that says final wage report when you're doing those, and that will notify your rep as well. So when you get onto your portal, it'll bring you up the screen and it will say, what would you like to do? So if you're going on for the first time and you're wanting to set up a new account, this is where you get the electronic version of the KCNS 010 status report to register your business for unemployment tax. So in that first section, new establishments, you can set up your account there. If you already have a established account, you can make changes to officer information, mailing address, and type of business. And then that next section, file your quarterly taxes for your company. And that's where you would file your quarterly wage report. The next section is uploading. If you have a large amount of employees, you can do a upload for it. And then the final section is paying your quarterly wage taxes for your company. So you can make your payments online. When you're going in to file your wage reports, the quarterly reports, first thing it's going to ask you for is to enter your PIN number. When you set up your new account, it is going to send you a notice of establishment that will have your account number and your PIN number on it. If you don't have your PIN number, you can click below and it will give you your PIN number. Once you put that PIN in, it's going to prompt you for your 6-digit account number, serial number. And then it will give you the next screen where you're going to select the list of quarters. It will bring up the quarters that need to be filed. If it's already been filed, it won't let you file it again. So if you need to make changes and it's more than a certain percentage, it's going to make you call your representative to make those changes. And this here is where it also has that this is my final report. On this is my final report, it's going to notify your representative within the Department of Labor, and they'll touch base with you to see if it's due to successorship or if you've just closed the business. So if you click on that final wage report, that's what that is telling us. It's not telling us that you're finished with your report for that quarter. That would be if you're closing your business or there was a change to the entity. So when you pick the quarter that you are wanting to file for, this is the screen that will come up where you can manually enter your data. There's an instruction sheet there for you. So you can click down the arrows on the side for any instructions. But you'll enter the amounts for the employees receiving wages in that quarter. And you can add new employees. If you've already filed a wage report, it will bring up the employees from the last quarter. So you don't have to type all your employees in each time. It will save the employee's name and social. So all you'd have to do is enter the gross wages for that quarter. If it's an employee that's no longer with you, you can delete that employee or you can put in 0 wages. But it will pre-populate the information from the previous quarter. Before saving your draft, you'll want to check for errors. And then you'll want to save the draft. If you're ready to submit your report, you're going to first check that box for certification, and then you can submit it. If you have a large amount, you can upload a data field. If you need assistance with that, you'd have to call your representative. And the last thing is payment vouchers. And so on the one where it said, what would you like to do, at the bottom, there's a payment voucher. You can pull up your payment voucher and make that payment online. It will ask you if you want to do it by electronic check or credit card. Another item that you need to know about is SIDES and SIDES e-response. So SIDES is our data exchange system with the employers. It helps us minimize UI rates. Electronic responses save time and eliminate the mailing delays to unemployment insurance information requests. All of our requests have deadlines on them. So this ensures accurate information exchanges, reduces administrative costs, and addresses 2 of the greatest causes of UI overpayments. The 2 greatest causes of overpayments are job separation issues and working while receiving benefits. It also means it's important for all employees to report their new hires. So this will help with the SIDES. So anything that you're needing to communicate back and forth through the benefits department would go through the SIDES data exchange system. Access to SIDES and eSIDES are provided at no charge to the employer. So you can do it by logging into your tax account where we were before. New employers who sign up online for a UI tax account are automatically signed up for SIDES e-response. If you already have an account, you can contact your field rep and they can help get you signed up for the eSIDES if you don't have it already. So on the subject line, if you're emailing them, you want to alert the earnings verification request. You want to put the employer's name and their serial number. On the body of the email, please complete the earnings verification request information. And that tells you how to do it. You go to uisides.org, select earning verification radio button, and enter your federal employer identification number. On all sides and correspondence, they have a 10-day calendar that you have to report within. On those, when you're going through the mail, it starts that clock already, and so it limits the amount of days that an employer can respond. By going through the e-side, you're getting these right away, and then you've got your full 10 calendar days in order to respond and gather your information. So if you need any help, you have any questions on sides, you can email kdol.sides@ks.gov and they can help you. You can also contact them by phone at 785-291-6180. So the next area that we want to talk about is worker misclassification. For worker misclassification, it is the misclassification of workers that occurs when an employer incorrectly classifies workers as independent contractors rather than employees. Misclassification creates problems for workers. The workers are incorrectly classified as independent contractors and they lose access to benefits such as unemployment, workers' comp, Social Security, and tax withholding. To determine worker status, we look at the right of control. Whether or not it is exercised is the most important factor in determining the relationship. An employer-employee relationship exists when an employer has the right to exercise control over the manner and the means by which the individual performs services. They have the right to discharge a worker at will and without cause, and that is strong evidence of the right of direction and control. A written contract that claims to create an independent contractor relationship is of no effect if the practice of the parties show that the employer retains the right to control the means and manners in which the services are performed. Generally, an employer-employee relationship is found to exist when the work being done is an integral part of the business of the employer and the worker does not furnish an independent business or professional service to the employer. So these are the 8 common law factors that we look at when we're looking at whether or not an individual is an independent contractor or if they are an employee. We look at instruction, integration, hiring and supervising and paying assistance, full-time, the method of payment, the furnishing of tools, materials, or other equipment, business and or travel expenses, and profit or loss. Do they have a profit or loss in the business? So I'm going to play a video for you on misclassification.
The Kansas Department of Labor presents a guide to determine if a worker is an employee or an independent contractor. KSA 44703 sets forth the conditions under which you are required to report wages paid and pay contributions, taxes, for unemployment insurance purposes. Misclassification of workers occurs when an employer incorrectly classifies workers as independent contractors rather than employees. Misclassification creates problems for workers. Workers incorrectly classified as independent contractors may lose access to benefits such as unemployment, workers' compensation, Social Security, and tax withholding. Misclassification of workers also puts businesses following the law at a competitive disadvantage with those who are misclassifying workers. Intentional misclassification of workers is illegal and constitutes tax and insurance evasion. Another form of worker misclassification is paying cash under the table. Do not break the law by paying cash and not paying your payroll-related taxes. Employers engaging in this practice may be subject to significant penalties and fines from the Kansas Department of Labor and Kansas Department of Revenue. So, what is employment? Employment is defined as services performed by an individual for wages under any contract of hire, unless it is shown that such individual has been and will continue to be free from control or direction over the performance of such services under the individual's contract of hire. An employee is any individual who performs services for the employer and is subject to the employer's control regarding what will be done and how it will be done. An independent contractor has an independent trade, business, or profession. They offer their services to the public. The general rule is that an individual is an independent contractor if the business engaging the contractor does not control or direct the means and methods of accomplishing the objective. The right of control, whether or not exercised, is the most important factor in determining the relationship. An employer-employee relationship exists when an employer has the right to exercise control over the manner and means by which the individual performs services. The right to discharge a worker at will and without cause is strong evidence of the right of direction and control. A written contract that claims to create an independent contractor relationship is not valid if the worker meets the criteria for being an employee and not an independent contractor. Generally, an employer-employee relationship is bound to exist when the work being done is an integral part of the regular business of the employer and the worker does not furnish an independent business or professional service to the employer. If you believe that you are being misclassified or someone is intentionally misclassifying others to avoid tax payments or other legal obligations, please report concerns by going to www.kdor.org/misclass or email kdol.reportmisclass@ks.gov. We hope this information helps you. If you have any further questions, please go to www.kansasemployer.gov to review the frequently asked questions. Thank you for watching, and remember, we are here to assist you throughout this process. The Kansas Department of Labor presents
So when you're reporting misclassification, you can email that to kdol.uitax@ks.gov. You can also use that email box for any questions or concerns you have regarding Kansas unemployment tax. You can also mail it to our address at 401 Southwest Topeka Boulevard, and that's Topeka, Kansas 66612. So other information is also available at our online website, the dol.ks.gov. You can log on there to find out information on free posters for your workplace, reporting unemployment or workers' compensation fraud, providing workers' compensation coverage of employees, or workplace safety. So that concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, please let me know.